Is your department's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee an afterthought, or is it an essential component of your organization? Individuals from diverse backgrounds, such as people of color and historically marginalized groups, are often invited to join DEI committees in order to contribute their unique perspectives and insights to the collective. While incorporating diverse viewpoints is crucial, we recognize that assembling the right DEI team and getting campus stakeholders is just one part of the equation. Whether this is your first time engaging with DEI committee work, or you are a DEI committee expert, there is value in exploring this question. What is the role of the DEI committee, and why is it important? The role of the committee is to assess the climate within the organization and to identify potential barriers to employee engagement, which in turn can have a significant influence on the student experience. Research indicates robust correlations between the morale of staff and faculty members and student learning outcomes. The DEI committee is not only tasked with pinpointing issues, but also with providing recommendations for enhancing existing policies, practices, and procedures. DEI committee work often involves reading the campus climate to assess the extent to which students, faculty, and staff, regardless of their race, gender, ethnicity, orientation, disability, or difference, feel welcomed, valued, and supported in their work, studies, and research. We know that both top-down and bottom-up committee approaches exist, and we recognize their distinct and inherent value. In certain instances, DEI groups stem from and are firmly rooted in broader leadership agendas. The top-down DEI approach entails strategies that are developed and disseminated from the organization's leadership. When the group or committee aligns with the mission and values guiding the leadership, the imperative of advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion becomes systematically evident and, as a result, becomes a central institutional priority. In other cases, DEI groups emerge from grassroots efforts. In these instances, DEI strategies are molded by the input of employees on the ground and rise to the attention of senior leadership. A DEI group or committee established through grassroots efforts also possesses the potential to advance positive change and to ensure that a higher education organization remains committed to its declared diversity, equity, and inclusion mission and values. The choice of the committee or group's name, as well as its introduction to the wider community, holds genuine significance. This signaling should be intentional and appropriate, aligning with the authentic responsibilities, roles, and expectations of the committee members. For instance, the term committee might not entirely encompass the essence of this group's work, since the culture of committees can vary depending on the organization. In contrast, a task force structure usually entails more concrete and well-defined objectives to be achieved within a specified time frame. When introducing the committee and outlining its purpose, it's essential to take into account every aspect of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity in the workplace means that a variety of experiences are represented across teams. Equity in the workplace means that all employees get what they need to succeed. Inclusion is reflected in a workplace environment that values and respects its employees. The composition of the group is really important. Those present influence the sense of belonging and community on campus. Individuals who actively contribute to campus unity exemplify the University of California principles of community. They showcase empathy and respect for everyone, promoting fairness and equity. Ideally, a DEI committee should consist of individuals who are highly motivated to learn and actively participate, possessing skills and expertise relevant to the committee's objectives. To ensure a purposeful inclusion of diverse perspectives in the conversation, it's essential to define minimum qualifications or expectations for participation. Once these are established, you can embark on a comprehensive brainstorming session that leverages your own networks and those of your colleagues. When considering cultural and racial diversity and representation, it's essential to guarantee that the group or committee reflects a diverse cross-section of the university community, encompassing various demographics and experiences. Prioritize what makes the most sense. For instance, the insights and expertise of employees who serve historically underserved student communities are invaluable. Likewise, cultivating relationships with leaders of identity-based staff organizations can facilitate the promotion of leadership opportunities within the DEI committee across different communities. If you discover that the individuals you are considering for the committee do not adequately represent the university's diversity, it's essential to ask yourself, what could be contributing to this lack of diversity? Is this due to the homogeneity within the unit or department of the university you are part of? Have you established connections with important staff and faculty who engage with marginalized or historically underrepresented communities? Are you actively fostering, developing, and nurturing positive relationships throughout the organization? Regardless of the situation, what is important is for members of the group to be invested in and committed to the goals and outcomes of the committee. Adopting this approach will help avoid a scenario in which employees, especially employees of color, are tokenized and asked to be the sole representatives and spokespersons for their community, as they may not wish to take on that role. This is a potential pitfall, particularly in an environment with limited representation. In traditional approaches, the burden of addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion often falls on those who have experienced discrimination. In reality, it should be the institution itself that takes responsibility for implementing fair practices and policies. Consider a university that has primarily assigned the responsibility of addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion concerns to historically marginalized employees, particularly those from underrepresented racial backgrounds. These employees are already juggling their regular job responsibilities, but they are now also expected to take on the lead on DEI initiatives. As time goes on, this approach starts to take a toll on these employees. They may become overwhelmed and stressed due to the additional workload, which can ultimately lead to burnout. Furthermore, they might feel frustrated as they perceive DEI work as an additional burden thrust upon them. Consequently, this situation can result in a high turnover rate among historically marginalized employees as they seek workplaces where DEI responsibilities are more evenly distributed. Additionally, other staff members who do not belong to historically marginalized groups may begin to distance themselves from DEI efforts, believing it is not their responsibility. They might not fully engage in these initiatives, assuming that addressing these issues is solely someone else's duty. The core competency model, encompassing achieving results, building relationships, and creating the future, emerges as a clear and accessible guideline. This model not only provides a structured understanding, but also outlines the standards and behaviors expected from every UC employee. By adhering to these competencies, employees contribute significantly to the fulfillment of the UC mission. Fostering an environment of diversity, equity, and inclusion that aligns seamlessly with the university's overarching goals and values.